Hello and welcome in. Appreciate you guys. Welcome to episode 18. It is 8:20 of 26, and I'm your host, Carl J. And let's get into some stuff today. Now, the episode, the title is Are We Able to Save America? That's definitely something I want to get into today. Looks a little grim, if I'm to be honest. Um, you know, we're very unorganized right now as a Republican Party. We are holding ourselves down by not just accepting each other's opinions on things, really. I was trying to think of a way to put that into perspective, but really at this moment, it's gone left and right so many different ways. I don't even know how. Um, you got Candace's The Great Divide there, Nick Fuentes, Alex Inouye, Tucker Carlson wanting to start a third party, which at this point in time I would be down with if I felt like there was hope for it. Right now, I'm not sure there is any hope for it because we don't have the time. And I don't know if it would just be easier if we just took the Republican Party over by storm, basically, and forced in the candidates we wanted. Either way, it's a rocky road forward, I feel. So that's some things we're just going to have. Got a little here I found on Twitter. Oh, I guess it's not going to let me switch over to presentation mode. I hope you guys can hear this at least. Hold on one second. Oh, there it is. Oh, my internet must be slow today. Sorry, guys. There it is. So is it going to play or what? What's the deal here?
I don't care if they call me racist. In fact, I couldn't care less what people who hate our country think of me. For decades, the left has used magic words like bigotry, racism, and all these other isms to shut down debate. These are the words they use when they know their position on any issue is indefensible. Like their position on immigration, the idea that being an American is nothing more than your physical location. They'll argue all day long that a nation having borders is essentially a racist idea. Their game is to convince people that the moderate position on immigration is actually the radical one. But for the entirety of our country's history, up until the last decade or so, every sane person knew the truth. First, immigration should be viewed only through one lens. Does this benefit the American people? Any other question really is immaterial. Second, American citizenship is a privilege, not a right automatically granted to any person on earth the second they demand it. Third, American culture is good and beautiful. American values are worth protecting. America, in its essence, is worth protecting against a massive flood of permanent residents who don't care about the things that made this country uniquely great. Despite the fact that this was conventional wisdom for all of American history until this generation of radical leftists came into power, I'm being attacked on a level I never thought I'd see. They're even coming after my family. If they get the chance, they'll knock me out and keep me out of the fight. If you agree with any of what I just said, if you're tired of being called nasty names for loving your country, the link to support me is right here. You'll know what to do from there.
Wow.
I don't care if they call me racist. And
about time. To be honest with you, about time. About time somebody said the quiet part out loud. I mean, how many of you are sick of just being told you're a racist for simply wanting somebody to come in to your country lawfully the way we've been doing it for, oh, I don't know, 240 years, and then the last 10 years, bring them in. It's so they can flood the system. Let's just be honest. It's called flooding the zone, right? They overflood the zone. You bring in basically enough people to erase the identity of the country, of the host nation. It's exactly what they're doing in Europe. I've always noticed this one little crazy ass pattern. It happens in Europe, it happens in Canada, then it happens in Australia, and then they try to push it on us. And how they do that is they use Australia, Europe, and Canada. Well, look, they're doing it. You know what I mean? It's like, don't you want to be part of the cool kids or something? It's almost like some sort of, you know, I can't think of the word exactly, but you get what I mean. It's like peer pressure. There we go. It's almost like peer pressure. They want to shove their ideology onto us. They just know they can't do it directly, and because we're just too smart for that. And there was a reason why we created America in the first place, was to be out of that. George Washington and most of the forefathers of this country stated multiple times, stay out of their wars. Those people are crazy over there. And they were talking about Europe. They've been in wars for 1,000+ years, and they're never going to stop. And that didn't mean it didn't mean being isolationist. It just meant be calculating in what you do. That's all it meant. Just be calculating. Help our allies, but we don't have to go to bat for them every time, especially if they're in the wrong. And on top of that, we don't have to fight every war. And we were never meant to be the policemen of the world. And if we're going to be, pay us. Where's the money? Why are we paying to be the policemen of the world for people who could care less about us? From people who could give two shits whether we live or die, who want to enforce their ideology and their rules onto us. What are we doing, man? This was never meant to be a suicide pact. You know what I mean? Like, it was just never meant to be that. And here it is. It's becoming a freaking suicide pact with these crazy people. They're nuts. I don't get it. Where's our head at, man? Where are we? Truly. We have lost all sense of our own identity almost. We have a quarter of our nation wanting to turn us into some socialist nightmare. We've always had a small faction of that here, but never. I'm almost 50. When I went to school, if you even said something like that, you were outcasted immediately, and everybody looked at you, just called you a commie or a socialist, and we were like, get out of here. They were the absolute minority in our schools, in my life, period. We, even back then, the Democrat Party, back in the 80s and 90s when I went to school, even then they at least had a grasp for the country. Like, they liked certain aspects of it at least. They weren't dedicated to this absolute abolition and destruction of our great nation. And we somehow slid behind them and let them take the forefront, and we didn't fight the ideology in the schools as it grew. We didn't fight the the demonization. The Republican Party was never the party of slavery, and it was never the party of the Klan. How was that not refuted endlessly? And then the facts brought up. There was never a party switch. That switch never happened. That was a lie. Why would one party even take that mantle up? Okay, yeah, that part died, but no party would take that up. That was something Democrats threw at us, like a hope, hope and a prayer that it holds. And the Republicans just never fought back. From a party that used to fight, that fought the Civil War and fought so hard to hold America together, went from that to the party of conservative, quiet guy. And, Christianity, that's great. I love it. But the Bible doesn't tell you to be weak. The Bible doesn't tell us to be meek, little, weak ass men who lay down and